What's up, all my 40K fanatics out there? I'm DJ Tims with Tim's Nation. Man, it has been one heck of a week here with 40K as well as work, and man, am I tired. Coming off an 18-hour day today, started with filming at the Game Shop out in Vermilion, Ohio for their first round of their RGT, and then going into work my full-time job, coming home and recording this video so I can keep up with the commitment of getting a video out every other day. And this video, like the title announces, is kind of a thinker. I'm a little stuck. I have put 3 battle reports out on here, one with AdMech, another with Grey Knights, and finally with Necrons. And I'm not really sure going after LVO what I should push with Ark of Omens in the competitive scene. So, with that being said, I'd like to present this question to you, the viewers, and those out in the 40K community, to see if maybe you guys can help shed some light on these armies I'm looking at. Shout out to my buddy Marcus, part of Burning Rivers Gaming Group, the team that I'm a part of, as he took first place with Iron Hands at the recent Recess RGT. Look forward to getting some games with you soon, because Iron Hands, man, they're a real thing again. With that being said, let's jump over and take a look at these lists. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. I got some great content coming out this week, including a talk about terrain to help newer gamers and veteran gamers get their terrain and their tables to a more comfortable feel.
Starting things off with my most meta army, the Grey Knights. The reason I say this is most meta army is I feel like this is going to be the build that a lot of Grey Knight players go to for competitive play. 30 Interceptors, which have been gold all edition, as well as 3 Dread Knights and a Grandmaster, since it's the maximum Dread Knight style units that you can run. Please don't yell at me for the unpainted Vindicare. I just included him as of last night, and I'm going to get him painted this week. After the game against Tyranids, I was able to look at my roster and realized I was 180 points short, which got me to drop the second Librarian and switch him out for Drago, and with the remaining points, give a Vindicare Assassin a try. Because of the fact that my army had such strong synergy, I didn't really need another unit in there, so I thought this was an ideal time to try an Assassin out. So the Grey Knights look like they're going to be very, very strong in Ark of Omens, especially with its secondary change. Now that Teleport Strike is significantly easier to score and doesn't require you to push for 4 turns to max it out, and you only need to do it over 3 turns, you can be a little more tactical with where you hit and when you hit and what you hit. I feel like this is going to be very close to what the meta looks like for Grey Knights, which is kind of a deterrent because when you play meta builds, that's what people are practicing against. And so there's going to be a lot more preparation. Plus, with armies that don't have Psychers, I'm going to give Abhor the Witch points up like there's no tomorrow. The Grey Knights do so hold a special place in my heart. This is my poor guy's army. This was when I had no money, an army that I built and took Space Marines and ripped them apart and put weapons on, which also spawned one of my conversions where I did all of my Interceptors from Sanguinary Guard, just because I liked the way the armor looked, the chest plates and that, and the detail of their armor, to give me some unique looking Sanguinary Guard. A couple other conversions go into my Librarian, as well as my Grandmaster with just a little bit of a different pose, and a display board that is a giant book, which I'll feature on the channel pretty soon. So this army is competitive, ready to go, and I've put a lot of time into it. But with it being so meta, is that going to put me behind the back wheel for armies that are prepped and practiced for Grey Knights as a whole? On to number 2 is an army that I've played this entire edition and has really, really held a special place in my heart. So much so that I actually have a decal on my green car for the Necrons. And that is the Necrons. Over this edition, I've been running the Silent King for most of it, and not really had too much luck with the Cetans until recently. But with Arks of Omens feeling like a mission pack where we really want to play on objectives, the Novak Dynasty loves that. And with the Armor of Contempt being gone, this allows me to run Scarabs and be able to charge them and gain AP1. Also, Race with Whip Coils become a little bit more effective. The army has a lot of characters in it, so it could potentially give up Assassinate on top of no prisoners, as well as the Necron secondaries being a little bit hard to score. But with the amount of aggression and push I have with this army, it becomes difficult to actually get to these characters. And even when you take one down for a command point, they pop back up and deny those assassination points since they're calculated technically at the end of the game. Also, by running the double C-TANs and being able to run them a little bit less command point intensive as we have in the past, allows me to have more command points to swap their powers and keep them more versatile in the list. Having two of them means that it's pretty much a guarantee that one of them is going to do something, even if the other gets destroyed. And there's still very difficult targets that can handle almost any army. And when I say handle any army, I mean they can find a job to do. Even the Void Dragon into all infantry has a tail for D6 attacks. This, I think, is a little more of an uncommon build, and I feel like that gives me a little bit more unique style as far as when going to a tournament. And if I'm able to pull a big win, would feel a little bit better with running something that's a little different. Artistically, I have a couple other added extras, such as these little monoliths for markers and a display board with an infinity gauntlet coming off of it, which I've featured a couple of times on the channel. But this, it's tough to say. Our Necron secondaries got nerfed. I have a lot of aggression to try and handle that with Purge the Vermin and Treasure of Aeons. But is this the direction I should go? Or is there a hard counter out there that maybe I need to run this list against? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And lastly, the Adeptus Mechanicus. These rusty steampunk guys have been a bread and butter of mine for many, many, many editions. And they've been struggling as of late, especially with the veteran cohort going away. But with Ark of Omens, it allows me to take kind of a different loadout and also see destroyers on the table, which we haven't seen in a while. I'm not sold on the destroyers, as my game against the Tyranids, they did not fare too well. But I'm curious as to when they get into units that had Armor of Contempt before, such as these 2 Wound Marines, and how many Marines we're going to be seeing on the table. I'm looking at you, Iron Hands. Maybe these guys might have a little more play and be able to do some work now. Over to these Onager Dune Crawlers, these guys I've loved for a long time and have been such great little sniping assassin tools. Prior, they were kind of fighting for some heavy support spots and didn't really seem to have a role. I feel like their large bases can zone out deep strike while not having to dedicate very much. To 9 robots, I mean, I can't. I know there's a lot of questions and why, and sometimes the answer is just why not. At the Frogtown GT, I had the courtesy of facing off against Brad Chester in the championship. And after the game, when we did our post interview, people asked why I ran the robots. And the answer I gave was because I like them. And they're one of my favorite units in the game. Thus why I have so many of them. And there's even another one on the shelf that's not included. And my Dragoons. No matter what anyone tells me about Iron Striders being better, these are my boys. This army has a lot of heart behind it. And a lot of the units that I've picked are because they are the units that I like, which I think is a very, very, that's how you should be playing 40K. You should be playing with the toys that you want to play with. This army, I think, needs to face off against Iron Hands. It needs to see that devastation. Maybe there's some other lists as well that I need to think about and go into. I feel like the robots having the 7 wounds makes it a little more help when going into Melta that isn't doing additional damage, so it can soak up 2 hits before taking out a robot. And Eradication of Flesh is still good. Hidden Archaeovault got extremely better, being able to score that in 3 turns. And with these guys having such low numbers as of late, I think it would be really awesome to be able to bring them back and have a big win with them. But is it going to be enough? Is there another pit? Is there another army out there that I'm not thinking about beyond Iron Hands that could just absolutely end my day and end my weekend before it even starts? So very curious on what some people have experienced. Maybe people have been playing more games with AdMech and got some reps with some of these units and could tell me, hey, watch out for this. What about this? So that's what I'm looking at. Those are the 3 armies that I'm thinking about taking for this competitive season post LVO. What do you guys think? Are these some lists that maybe you're trying at home, or some units you're trying at home and you've had success or failures with that I should be watching out for? Really curious to hear what you guys have found and the information you guys could bring. This community is ever growing, and something that you may say to me, someone else may pick up on and look at and need to apply that to their own games. This is a great community, and we're growing every day. Please, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Like, share, leave a comment. I'm going to be doing a huge Q&A. Well, we'll say huge, a big Q&A for myself this week, as well as a bunch of other videos around list tech and the terrain and everything that's included with this game. If you haven't already, check out some of these other videos I've done, especially on Necrons and some of my battle reports. And stay tuned for the battle report from the Game Shop tournament that I was there this week. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be putting more videos out for you again soon. Thank you.